How Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira went from struggling actors to comedy powerhouse duo with a 60-year marriage and love story for the ages, as Hollywood mourns his death at 92. He was 5 feet 5 inches, and the son of a Jewish bus driver whose grandparents had immigrated to New York to escape the harsh realities of life in Eastern Europe. She was the only daughter of an Irish Catholic corporate lawyer. Though she was only 2 inches taller, she appeared to tower over him. The only things they had in common were that they were both born in Brooklyn and their families had moved out when they were children, his to the then seedy Lower East Side of Manhattan, thanks to a $5,000 lottery win, and hers to a Tony town on Long Island, where her mother committed suicide when she was 11. But the love story of odd couple Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira was one for the ages. They were married for more than 60 years and both on and off stage had a chemistry that defied their different backgrounds. Now they are both gone. Jerry died over the weekend, aged 92, their son, actor Ben Stiller, announced on Twitter. Ann passed in 2015 at age 85. He was a great dad and grandfather, and the most dedicated husband to Ann for about 62 years, Ben said. He will be greatly missed. Love you, Dad. They met in 1953 when both were struggling actors in New York. Ann had a meeting with Jerry's agent. As he waited outside for his own meeting, she emerged from the office in tears because the agent had chased her around the desk. Passing up the chance for a face-to-face with his agent, George invited the angel-faced woman for coffee, where she complained about how she hated all New York men because they were lecherous, he wrote in his 2000 autobiography Married to Laughter. They tied the knot the following year and set out on one of showbiz's most durable marriages, producing 2 children, Amy, now 58, and Ben, 54. They didn't team up professionally straight away. Ann, who had studied under the influential stage teacher Uta Hagen, was intent on being a serious Broadway actress. She even won an Obie for her role in the lesbian-themed stage play Mädchen in Uniform. But Jerry noticed the reaction whenever they met new people. They'd say to Ann, "Hey, you're married to him? I thought we could use it," he said, so he suggested to his wife that they could make it together, even though he didn't really think she was funny. Ann didn't like the idea. Single quote. "At that stage of my life, I disdained comedians," she told an interviewer, but she went along anyway. They developed their own act of Hershey Horowitz and Mary Elizabeth Doyle, playing off their real-life differences, his intense neuroses and her easygoing personality. In one sketch, the couple traded insults about each other's friends and ancestors, which made it seem like divorce was on its way. It ended with Jerry insulting Ann's ex as a mushface, and she affectionately calling him Matzah Head. Ann's very Quicksilver. She moves rapidly and makes a choice. Jerry will stop and think, their friend, Rhoda star Valerie Harper, said. But the result is the same, they are committed to getting it good. Neither of them ever phones it in. 6 years after they married, Ann converted to Judaism, not because her husband pushed her to but because she said she wanted newborn Amy to have a sense of identity. "I wanted my children to know who they were," she said. The couple struggled in New York and with an improv group in Chicago before becoming an overnight sensation thanks to a 1963 appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. They were invited back dozens of times. "Ed Sullivan brought us up to the level that we never knew we could get to," admitted Jerry. The normally stone-faced Sullivan was often left rolling around in laughter at their act. Ann said she never liked Sullivan because he terrified her. "He scared the stuff out of me," she told the Los Angeles Times. "I wasn't the only one. There were international favorites from all over the world throwing up in the wings, singers and tenors and guys who spin plates. It was live. We were scared. They ended their double act in 1970 as Ann felt she had to spend more time in New York with their children and less on the road. It was a relief for both. "I love Ann, but if I had depended on her in my professional life, I would have lost her as a wife," Jerry told People in 1977. "I didn't know where the act ended and our marriage began," said Ann. But they appeared together in a series of ads for Blue Nun wine in the 1970s. In one, Jerry said, "May I suggest you have a little Blue Nun at your smorgasbord?" "Oh, I don't think she'd have a very good time," Ann replied. "Besides, it's going to be all couples." Sales of Blue Nun shot up from 90,000 cases annually to more than 800,000. Ann went into television, as Harper's flight attendant friend on Rhoda, and with Carol O'Connor on the All in the Family spin-off Archie Bunker's Place. Jerry was reduced to guest appearances on game shows and playing 3 different characters in episodes of The Love Boat. He felt his career had passed him by when he was offered a guest role on Seinfeld in 1993. Frank Costanza had been written as a mild, meek man, but when Jerry read for the part he started screaming. Jason Alexander, who played his son George, told Jerry to hit him. "I didn't want to, but he encouraged me to really let him have it," he said in 1996. "I did, and it got another huge laugh. And now screaming and hitting are my trademarks." Jerry was getting older and often had difficulty remembering his lines. Alexander said that worked all the better. The lines would come back to him in little stutter steps, Alexander said. So they would come out in little stutter steps, and what you were seeing was his growing anxiety and frustration with his own memory, that got translated into the disdain for the world that Frank Costanza had. When Seinfeld ended in 1998, Jerry again tried to retire, but Kevin James called him to play another eccentric dad, Arthur Spooner on King of Queens. Towards the end, their son Ben brought his parents together again for their last joint venture, Stiller and Meara, a show about everything, a weekly web series on Yahoo, where they would discuss all subjects, from Justin Bieber to the internet. "I love improvising with him," Ann told the Los Angeles Times. "We did miss our back and forth." Thank you for watching our video. Please show your support by subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and Reddit for more videos.